My name is Anthony James, and I love the German Netflix show Dark. I love it so much that I started a YouTube channel to talk about it. From the start, I've been told that the Dark train won't last forever, and if I want to continue to grow on YouTube, I need to move on. Well, you know what? I don't want to move on. This show is worth more. It's worth more theories, more analysis, deconstruction, and discussion. So if you're not ready to move on either, then you're in the right place. Right here on Dark Discussions. Hello, and welcome to Dark Discussions. I'm your host, Origin Anthony James. My mic wasn't turned on, it's my first stream. Sorry guys. Now I seem to be having an issue with my client here, with the comments coming through. I can get my comments on the actual YouTube page. So if you just bear with me for a second, I will open that up so that I actually am able to get the comments through. I don't know why that is. So my idea was, guys, that I would... My grand idea here was that if there's anyone watching, then you guys could actually contribute to my rankings. Now, if you don't want to, that's fine. This will stay on the channel as a Dark Discussions video. If you're listening on podcasting apps later on down the road, I don't know how conducive this is going to be to podcasting apps audio. Might be quite visual. I'll try and say every character I'm doing so you know who I'm talking about at that time, and I'll also try to state the grade that I've given them very, very purposely in the description of the audio podcast, as well as the description of the video after this is all finished. What I'll do is I'll actually put the link to my chart, or I created this tier list myself. Because to be honest with you, some of all the ones on there, they were sort of the dark characters in general, whereas I wanted to focus on season 1 characters, and then we're going to do season 2, season 3 other times. So I made sure to get all the season 1 characters in this tier list. I made it myself, so I'll put the link in the description after this video goes not live anymore, once it sort of goes into my video list, so you'll be able to do this tier list as well, and you could send that to me at adpodmail@gmail.com. Or just link me at it and at me on Twitter as well. Hey Anthony James. Now, speaking of Twitter, before I get into this week, if you want to have a look at the possibilities for next week's topics, there's 3 to choose from. So as always, you can go to my Twitter at Hey Anthony James and vote for them. So the first one is parallels to Westworld, still kicking about. There, I think maybe that one might kick about until Westworld season 4 comes out. Oh, greetings from Germany. Well, I'm getting the comments through now. So Cabu Cross says greetings from Germany. Well, yes, greetings, welcome. So we are we're going to be doing this. This is a little bit strange. I'm hoping to do my goal is that one day Dark Discussions will be a weekly show every Tuesday where I'm live every single week. And to be honest with you guys, I talk a lot about how I have my kids. I'm a teacher as well, and it would free up a lot of time for me in terms of the edit after. Now it's obviously a little bit of work to get the stream set up, but in terms of saving the edit after, I wouldn't mind having just one weekly show. This is the only one I'm doing live, probably, so I don't think it'll hurt the channel too much. And if it does, it's all a bit of fun anyway. Right, so the second one is what genre is Dark? Now, I don't know why I thought of this, but Dark has so many different genres. So what I'd like to do is just go through the different genres of film and TV and decide, basically come to a conclusion if we can sort of say what genre it is. I don't know if we'll be able to come to a conclusion, but we can try. And then the last one there, 80s Talk with Konrad. If you're aware of Konrad, he's my friend who does the After Dark podcast with me, where we go through Dark one episode at a time. We're on episodes, this one came out this week, is season 3, episode 2. So he's finding out a lot of stuff that he got right, a lot of stuff that he got wrong as well. So guys, can you make sure you like the video if you haven't already? Now, I'm only new to YouTube. It's really strange. I'm getting to the point now where I'm sort of I am kind of making videos to get likes. When it started, I was 100% making it just because I wanted to do it. I still do. Don't get me wrong. I would not be doing this. I'm a father with a full-time job. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't want to. But it's weird that I'm at the point now with 2,000 subscribers. I sort of have to ask you to like the video. So like the video, it does help. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do focus on Dark quite a bit. I also focus on other TV shows. With that being said, let's get in to the ranking. Now, as I said, I created this tier list all by myself. It took me a while to get all the pictures and all ready to go, but I think it's all set now. Now, I've tried to include all of the different characters from Dark. Absolutely all of them. Now, as we go through, you will see there are some characters on this list which they shouldn't be there, right? They shouldn't be there. But it is what it is. I've included them because it's harsh to even call them a character. They are literally someone with one line. But you know what? We'll go with it. So, first of all, I'm going to go in the order it is, unless I see someone I particularly want to talk about, and I'll get them out. So, first of all, we've got Agnes. I think it's going in alphabetical order here. So, Agnes. So, obviously, Agnes only exists in one incarnation in Season 1. Now, this is going to be very difficult for me, and as I'm sure it would be for you guys too, because I really, really want to give them all S, because it's my favorite show of all time. I'm sure it's a lot of your guys' favorite show as well. Just on Season 1, this will be a bit delayed, so I'm seeing the comments about a minute or so after I'm speaking, or a minute or two. So you will get your answers, but we're basing this all on Season 1, just on Season 1. So Agnes, as I say, she's only got one incarnation. I'm not going to be talking about Agnes or any of those characters further on. So I'm going to have to be harsh, and I don't want to be, because in my mind they'll all be S's, but I'm going to be harsh, and I'm going to really think about the character, but it's also going to come down to whether I enjoyed it or not. So for Agnes, straight away, I'm thinking Agnes was a good character. I mean, she wasn't the perfect character. She wasn't the best character in the show. She wasn't the character I was looking forward to seeing the most, so I can't put her at S. If I'm being harsh, I can't put her at S. I enjoyed what she was doing. I enjoyed the fact that she was sort of seducing Doris. That was interesting. Like that storyline, that was very intriguing. And then it sort of implied a little bit that that was her intention the whole time. So it was good. I enjoyed her storyline. I think I'm probably gonna have to throw her a B though. Like she didn't do anything to make me really, really dislike what she was doing in what am I talking about? In season 1, just that's all I'm talking about. So she didn't do anything to make me dislike her. There's some characters which did horrible things. I mean, they might be great characters, but just the craziness of them might put them down because, as I say, it's based on. Whoa! Smack the mic. Why not? Bang! It's based on my opinion of like the strength of the character, but also just my opinion of how I enjoyed it. Do I look forward to seeing them? So Agnes is going to be our middle of the road. I think she's good enough for middle of the road. I'm also going to put Alexander middle of the road, B. Now, some of you might, having seen the whole thing, might argue for Alexander to be at C or at D. All right, the top new pro. I'm gonna disappoint you straight away. I forgot to put Gretchen in, and which is hilarious. It's hilarious that I forgot to put Gretchen in when you see some of the characters I did include in. I knew I would forget someone, and it was the dog. All right, anyway, so Alexander's going to be B. I think that in the first season, there was a lot of potential with Alexander. I really, really thought that Alexander was going to be an integral part of the main storyline. Now, he did end up being an integral part of the main storyline at the end of Season 2. And then in Season 3, we all realized after theorizing for a year that actually... top new pro. I'll change the name of the stream after. I don't know if I can do that now. Actually, can I? Let's see. Let's go on a live stream journey together. Right? Can I change the name of the stream? Let me see. I think I might be able to actually. Ranking all of the Dark Season 1 characters. What did I do wrong? Apparently, I did something wrong. Oh, I put an S in the word character. Okay. Good point. Oh, yeah. Characters. You're putting me off here. That was perfect. I've done it perfectly. I'm going to trust myself. I've said it before. I've said it before. I trust you YouTube commenters too much. Unless I did actually make a mistake on my software. Anyway, I'll change it later. Right, okay. So, middle of the road characters. Alexander is there in Season 1 because I didn't expect him to get more. But he's there. Alexander in the 80s is going to be an A for me. That guy is just dripping swagger juice. I don't know. That's what my brother would say. Swagger juice. He's dripping in swagger juice. That's what the naughty kids used to say. But I would say that Alexander, or probably Boris at this point, he was cool. I liked him. I thought he was, his leather jacket going into Claudia. He gets an A. Some of these I'm gonna have to go quick through because there are an awful lot here. Right. So then Bartos, D. If you listen to the After Dark podcast, I don't need to explain myself. Get out of here, Bartos. Especially at this point. True, that's not Alexander. Oh, yes, but we'll get on to the Yasin in a minute. Yeah. Actually, guys, go on Google Yasin Dark Netflix and look at the fourth result on images. Oh, they're two Alexanders because I'm doing every iteration of it. Just because I'm either an idiot or a genius. You decide. Okay, so Benny next. Benny's going to have to be a C, just a pass. There wasn't too much with Benny. Benny was very much a character who was sort of there to facilitate the growth and storyline of other characters. I mean, I enjoyed seeing her on the screen, but that's what she was there for. So I'll give her a pass. I'll give her a C. D's the only real bad one here. So D's the only one where you really wouldn't want to be a D, and that is Bartos. Burnt. Now, if we're thinking about Burnt being a bit creepy in Season 3, this is not that Burnt. This is Burnt who wants to start the power plant. Didn't see too much of him. Not enough to dislike him. Not enough to think he was brilliant, to be honest with you. So I'm going to pop him in C. So he'll go there. Burnt in the 80s. I don't really understand why he didn't give Claudia the information straight away. He's going to D, because I don't understand, Burnt. Why on earth, I know you don't top new pro, why on earth, why would Burnt not give Claudia all the information? And then all it took for her to get all the information was to go and say, hey, Burnt, can I have the information? He's like, yeah, of course, here you go, take it. So, for me personally, Burnt, just give Claudia, she was competent, she was good enough for the job, give her all the information. You can trust her with keeping that secret. All right, next up, Killian. Oh, you didn't think I'd have Killian in there? I do. Killian, he's got to be a D. Didn't see anywhere near enough of him. I did actually. This is a harsh one because you see so little of him in Season 1. There's going to be a lot of characters in that D there, but I just wanted to include them, to be honest with you. So Killian has got to do that, right? He's got to be in D, but I just wanted to show you I included him. Now, I didn't include Gretchen, I'm sorry, but I included Killian in the first season. So now, next up, the nurse from the nursing home. We'll put her in at D as well. Did her job well, didn't see enough of her. Just wanted to let you know that I'm going as deep as I can here. Okay, so Charlotte. Charlotte's got to be an A for me. I love the character of Charlotte. I think in Season 2... Now, I don't want to preempt my Season 2 rankings, but I think Season 2... Red MH is the S tier. So S tier is the best tier. S tier is the best tier. So if I rank something in S tier, they're like one of my favorite characters of all time. Okay? Of all time. So we'll see if anyone gets S tier. I think in second season, I maybe might put Charlotte S tier. But in the first season, not really. Not really. I think there was still a lot of mystery around Charlotte. Actually, the funny thing was there wasn't actually much mystery around her in the first season. The mystery came in the second season. Then obviously we got all the payoffs in the second season too. But there wasn't actually that much. There wasn't. Oh, there's my phone. What am I like? Eh? That's Konrad. Konrad texted me about Thursday. Right. Okay. So actually, there wasn't actually any mystery around Charlotte in the first season, so that's why I'm not putting her up at S. I did think she was a great character. I liked her as the head, the chief of police. So she deserves to be an A, but I wouldn't put her up. Right. Okay. So next up, Charlotte in the 80s. just because she's a good drawer, and my wife would appreciate it because my wife's an artist. I'll pop her in at sea. Again, didn't see much of Charlotte. She comes into her own more in the third season. She's not really, even in the 80s, she doesn't get much to do, if we're honest, in the whole season. But she is definitely going to be at least C. She's not as bad as D. Like she didn't get as bad as she's not as bad as Bartos, obviously. Like we all, come on, Bartos, jackpot, come on. So Burnt, again, made a mistake. And those two, so little. So I keep feeling like I have to justify the Ds because I love this whole show. But anyway, so Claudia in the 50s, tutor to Helga, loses Gretchen. I'm going to go C. I mean, if this was second season where she interrupted the fun that her mum and Agnes were having, maybe that's enough to get her up. Also, the whole thing that's going on with Tronta there, little interesting stuff. I'm going to keep her in C here. Again, not much out of the character. I'm trying to be very harsh because I don't want it to be top-loaded with A's and B's and S's. So that's where she's going to go. Claudia, A. A lot of you might be surprised by that. Yeah. Alvy Rainey, he was texting about Yasin. He never stops talking about Yasin, Konrad. So a lot of you guys, geez, this is going to be terrible for the audio listeners. This is going to be terrible. I'm sorry, audio listeners. Just give this one a miss. I'm gonna upload it because it would be silly to go from episode 10 to 12, but give it a miss. So Claudia's going to go A. I think that she becomes S tier definitely later on down the line. In the first one, though, again, it's a bit like Charlotte. There's not much going on in that storyline. It's setting the scene for later on. Claudia becomes my favorite character in the whole show. Not my favorite show in the whole character. She is my favorite, but I would say at this stage, not good enough. Not good enough yet. She's sort of simmering away. I haven't said that. She's A. Let's be honest. That's still amazing. Michael Kahnwald. Now, I said I'm not going to base my ratings on the whole thing. I can't remember, and I'm sorry for this, but I can't remember off the top of my head if Daniel Kahnwald made inappropriate comments about women in this season, second season, or third season. I just know he does it, and he's going there. Okay, I also thought it's interesting that Egon's abortion guy. Hey, I got a guy. You need an abortion? I got a guy. His guy is Daniel Kahnwald. Daniel Kahnwald knows who to find, so that's sketchy in itself. Next up, we got the doctor from the 80s who's checking over Mikkel when he's first in the hospital. I told you, I'm going to have them all. Gretchen would be S tier, obviously. Let's just remember that. So I'm going to pop him down there. Again, not enough of him, but I just wanted to include him because you know what? It's fair to include everyone, says the teacher. Okay, next up, we have Doris. Now, Doris is an interesting one. She's going to be a C, let's be honest. But I like the character of Doris. I like sort of her realizing that she's not happy in the life that she has. And to be honest with you, I think that probably happened a lot. It happens a lot these days, and I'm sure it happened a lot back in the 50s as well, where, you know, women and also men find themselves in a position in life where they've sort of done what they did to get there, because that's what you do. That's what you do in life. You buy a house, you settle down, you have kids, and then all of a sudden they're like, now this is me, don't get me wrong, but all of a sudden some people could be like, oh, this is my life. Is this what I want? You know, and then a beautiful brown-haired woman with a red dress walks through the door, and your life is anew. So that's what happened here. Next up, her husband, Egon. I really love Egon in all forms. I think in this season, Egon's going to go B, 50s Egon. I think, and straight away I'll just put Egon, 80s Egon up in A. I think that's where it's going to go this season. I mean, come on, how can you not put him in A? I should really put him in the S tier. S for Satanists. That's where I should put him. But no, I think I'll put him in A tier this time. So that's where I'm going to put them to. Maybe I'll get into more of my Egon reasoning in my next video of Season 2. But that's where I'll put him for this time. Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth would be S tier for Sean Springer. Now, Sean, I probably agree with you. I said that I love Elizabeth. I think she's a great character. In Season 1, I'm going to give her a B because there's a load of great moments for her. And I know this goes against something I said on the AD pod, but I said that Elizabeth would be one of my favorite characters in the season. That's true, but that's when I'm just talking about my favorites. But when I'm talking about the character and the quality of the character and the writing, I'm not going to put her in S because I have to be all-encompassing here. We don't see enough of her. I mean, she has some great sassy moments, like telling off her mum. Lucy says she put young Claudia in B. Yeah, you could make a case for that. You could make a case for that. Definitely you could. So I'm not going to, because it's going to be too stacked up there, guys. It's going to be watch this now. I keep saying it's going to be too stacked up. So my bottom C and D are going to be stacked because I'm trying to be fair. Elizabeth for me in first season, put her at B. She has some great snappy moments. I think if you compare Elizabeth with Claudia, like if you compare these two, like Elizabeth and Claudia, I would say Elizabeth comes out on top of those two in this first season. Maybe you disagree. For me, it's Elizabeth comes out on top. Eric, I mean, sorry, Eric. Like, S for sympathy? Nah. Sorry. Eric, you're going to go... Konrad would want me to put you up at C because of your high tops. Konrad loves your shoes, but I'm gonna pop you in at D. Gonna pop you in at D. That's what I'm gonna do. Herman, I mean, I had to include Herman. I told you, I'm including everyone. So Herman is gonna go D because we didn't see much of him. Also, based on my theories, I hate Herman. If there's one character in this whole show that I hate the most, it's Herman. Herman, get out of here. If this show didn't have Herman in it, it'd be a much better show. And that's a show that's perfect. Right, Francisca. Oh, I love Francisca. Francisca. Where do you go? A, B, C. Not an S tier. Definitely not an S tier. I'll go C. I think there's a little bit of confusion with Francisca in the way, not confusion, but a little bit of sort of anticlimactic nature to her storyline with Benny. So I do love Francisca, and I really enjoy watching Francisca, but I'm gonna put her in C because I just think that there was no payoff to that storyline yet, and even when we did get it in season 2, which we'll talk about when we do that ranking, I'll do that then. Pseudonymous Being says, "Where's the radio voice?" You're 100% correct. I should have put the radio voice in. I was going to put the radio voice in. And you know what? This is what I thought. As I was putting the radio into the size of the square image it needed to be, I was finding it difficult to make it so you would be able to see it as a radio. Like I was scaling it, right? I was scaling for about 30 seconds. And then I just thought to myself, what the fuck am I doing? No one is going to want to have the radio voice in this tier list. Well, I found one. Sorry. I'm going to call you PB because I had a problem with the pseudonymous there. PB, I didn't do it. Right. So, next up, the artist who will known in the future as Celia. Celia is going to definitely go here. Actually, no, C. Come on, that line, "Welcome to the future." That definitely... You do not deserve to be on the same level as Herman. Definitely not. Yeah, I agree, Timo. Francisca and Magnus didn't do too much that was notable in the first season. I would agree with you. Greta, C. Just for the actress alone, I think this actress is fantastic. I've completely bought in to Greta as a stone cold 50s mother, and then whenever Helga goes missing, there is that sort of moment of feelings coming to the surface, and then she almost blames herself as well. So I would say Greta is going to go there. Hannah, now this is my first real contender for an S tier character. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, everyone's hatred for her might want you to drop her down, but I'm putting her S. First S tier character. Hannah, you are S tier. I mean, what's not to love? What's not to love? As someone said in the comments of the last After Dark podcast, why did Ulrich cheat on Katarina? It's simple. Maya shone. And it's that simple. She is amazing. Like, I love this character. Psychopath, maybe. Narcissist, definitely. Brilliant character. Let me know what you think, guys. I think she should be an S tier. Okay, so young Hannah. Yeah, well, I'm including them both in the one. There. Now that's going to go against the fact that I've got two of them, but they have to both be there. Like Hannah as a character, the way that they show the way that they show her in the flashbacks and stuff, and the montages where she's like obsessed with Ulrich, and then we see the storyline with Ulrich. It's so intertwined. Her storyline, now you can say that with all the characters, but her storyline is so intertwined that both of them have to be. And that's one thing that's interesting about Hannah, is that I don't think that there's much growth in her from her teenage years to her middle-aged self. Like, the thing is that I would say most characters have some sort of evolution between the time zones. Not Hannah. Not Hannah. Maybe in season 3 you could argue that she does, but yeah, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so Helga, old Helga. They're doing it again. Yeah, so old Helga will go there. He won't mind. He won't be able to hear me. He won't be able to hear me that I put him there either, because he only got one ear. But right, okay. So young Helga, same. Young Helga. Actually, you know what? I'll put it. Nah. I was gonna say I'll put him at B, just because if I put him at B, then that would be just like reparations for him getting beaten to half to death by Ulrich, or 99% to death, I'd say. Right, I'm glad you'll all agree with me that Hannah is S tier. Fantastic, yeah, I agree. I think she's S tier. I absolutely love her. There's never a scene with Hannah in it that I don't want to watch. She's just amazing, Right, middle-aged Helga, he can go up to B. Just for his carving skills alone. I couldn't do that with a pine cone. Just absolutely fantastic. He's got a good heart. He's got a good heart, Helga, and I like that. This Helga is the one that we see cracking. This Helga is the one that we see who wants to break away from Noah. Now, obviously, Noah then eventually gets him back under the thumb, but this is the Helga that has that moment of, hang on a minute, I shouldn't be doing this. And to be honest with you, season 1 is kind of Helga's season, in a way, but I would say that middle Helga is the one where in his life he starts to come away from. Obviously, old Helga then goes back and really cool, has a car crash with himself, and he stops him. He thinks he's stopping him or whatever. So there is really cool stuff from old Helga there as well. But I just love that scene between Noah and middle Helga. I just love it. I think no one will disagree with putting young H.G. Tannhaus in C for season 1, but old H.G. Tannhaus is going to go to A for me. H.G. Tannhaus becomes very quickly in Dark a character which many people, I would say he's iconic. I'd say the image of H.G. Tannhaus sitting in that clock shop is iconic to Dark. And I think that through season 2, we saw less of him. And I think a lot of people missed him. So it was great to see at the end of season 3 he came back with a purpose. But I would say his monologues, he was basically the explanation of the show. Like he was like exposition. So he was sort of explaining the time loops and everything. So the show wouldn't have the style it has without H.G. Tannhaus. So I agree. I agree with myself. I think H.G. Tannhaus should be A because of he's integral to the style of the show. Without that person of the show, it would be a completely different show in my opinion. Older Enos, D. No, not D. I mean, Bartos is D. Daniel Kahnwald is D. Should Enos be D? Yeah, let's pop her in D. And I'll tell you why. I would have loved to see or find. Like I put it this way, I'm not annoyed about it, but I would have liked to see a little bit more building. I would have liked to see a little bit more building of the Enos character in terms of why her and Hannah had the schism. I also know there's a big question amongst the fandom as to how did Enos get Michael Kahnwald's suicide note or letter to his son. That's really interesting because I think maybe she just went in and got it. Maybe Hannah didn't want to go in where her husband was hanging, and Enos did. I don't know, something but it's interesting. I have to put Enos in D as well, young Enos, because we don't see much of her. Or we just see her being shit scared of Ulrich. I would be too. Some people in the comments saying that they didn't like Enos middle or old. Well, old Enos is going down the bottom. Middle Enos is going to go up to C for me though. Actually, no, I'm going to put her at B. I genuinely believed in the first season in her I bought into her story. Not able to have a family. We learnt about her. She had a child who died just after. We also saw the relationship between her and Mikkel. Like, that was a very genuine thing in the first season. Very genuine thing in the first season. Unfortunately, we all see where it went. Season 2 is going to be very different. But, yeah, Alvi, you're right. I should have put Bartos in J tier for jackpot. Definitely, but Enos, I would say, has got to go in B, just for the character stuff. Yana, C. I think I'm being too fair here. I thought I was going to have everyone in S and A. Jeez. Okay. So Yana, going to go here. Again, this Yana, young Yana, is going to go in the D tier. I think old Yana had it, also the Mikkel stuff too, but definitely that was there. Middle Yana, D. Didn't see much of her. But she comes back in season 3, so we'll talk about more over there. Yankovsky, Officer Yankovsky, D. Just wanted to show you that I'm including everyone, guys. As I said to you, I'm including everyone. So D tier for Yankovsky, D tier for Jasmine, the secretary. I'm including everyone here, guys. I'm including everyone. So, geez, this is actually gonna look like a Christmas tree. Well, half of one. Okay, Jonas. Gotta be S tier. I think, now, this is not, like, Jonas is just obviously the main character of the show. Like, he's viewed, and there's not really a main character of the show, but you know what I mean? He's viewed as the main character of the show. And it's sort of his journey through the labyrinth is what we take. And I'm along with him for the journey, to be honest with you. And I think the actor, Lewis Hoffman, is absolutely incredible. One of the best criers I've ever seen. And I just love Jonas. It's, maybe it's a bit mainstream to say, but I just love Jonas. He's great. Right. So, Jürgen Obendorf. Jeez, big Jürg. Got to be in C. It's got to be in C, and I'll tell you why. I want to see what else is in that pit. That wet pit, where I honestly thought when he pulled that up, the drugs up out of that wet pit, I thought it was a head. I honestly did. He's going to go C just because, he's great. Come on, it's Jürgen. It's Jürgen Obendorf. What a great fella. All right, Katarina. Where's Katarina going to go now? Probably B. Let's be honest. You can't be too harsh on Katarina. She's had a rough life, guys. She's had a rough life, and she's only got rough to come. So I'm going to put her in B, just because we all know where she's going, and she needs a bit of happiness in her life right now. But I did like the character. I think she genuinely loves her children. I think that there is a bit of a. I think there's a bit of something to be said for the fact that there's a bit of an argument to be made that Katarina doesn't react well to Mikkel going missing in terms of how she treats her other children. Sure, that's there, but the character I think is solid, so it's going to be a B. Young Katarina. Young Katarina. I mean, she's got style. She's also really tough, but I think that there's not enough meat in the storyline for that character to elevate her. She was kind of even a side character in the rape allegation storyline that focused more on Ulrich and Hannah, even though she was the alleged victim. So I think that this one is going to be in C. Mads, just wanted to show you that I'm including everyone. I'm including everyone. Did I tell you? I'm including everyone. Not Gretchen. Magnus and Franziska go as a pair. I have to have them next to each other. I do love Magnus. I do. I think Magnus breaks the cycle of adultery in his male line. Tronta, Ulrich, Magnus. Magnus breaks the cycle of adultery. Having said that, if there was no apocalypse and he stayed in 2019, would he have eventually become adulterous? Possibly. We'll never know. Okay. So Marta. Marta's not in the first season, to be honest with you. She's not an S tier. Maybe second season that character would become more of an S tier. Maybe even third season, like Marta, come on. But I know. I'm sorry, MH Gretchen. I left Gretchen out. So basically, Marta is going to go A tier, and I think because Jonas' storyline is propelled by Marta. We all know that. I can't put her any lower. She's one of the integral parts of the show from the very beginning. But she's not S tier in season 1, in my opinion. Now, Martin, the police chief of police in the 80s. D, but I'm including everyone here, guys. I'm including everyone. Okay, so yeah, that's true. Ganji Blob. Yeah, Marta did continue the adulterous ways. You know, unlucky for Bartos. Jackpot. Okay, so Michael, he's got to go C. He's not all the way down in D. Obviously, we didn't see much of him. His death is what starts the show. His death is what propels many characters, because it propels Jonas through his storyline, but it also then Jonas's storyline has an impact on so many others. So that moment where he kills himself, is seen as like the real ignition of the show, and I think that C is good for him there. I think he would possibly be a D just because of how little we saw him, but the ignition of the show, plus the actor did a fantastic job in that voiceover at the end of season 1, episode 5, where he reveals his true identity. Absolutely loved that voiceover. Brilliant use of voiceover. Mikkel Houdini himself. Mikkel Houdini. Dubis cool. 9. He's Mikkel. Let me see. I'm going to pop him along with there we go. Let's make Katarina happy. Let's pop Mikkel next to her, and then she doesn't have to worry. She doesn't have to go to the 80s. She doesn't have to go try and get Ulrich out of the place. Doesn't have to get knocked over the head with a rock and put in the lake. There she is. She's with Katarina. She's happy there. All right, Noah. No explanation needed. The big drone. Come on, Noah. Now, this character here, I included this just to show off a bit. So, this character is actually a nurse, and we first see her in episode 3 where she speaks to Enos about covering Enos's shift. She wants Enos to cover her shift. And the reason she does that is because she needs to take Benny to soccer. And we all know this is Benny. So, Benny's here. And so, this is Benny and Vola's mum. D tier, obviously, but I just wanted to tell you that. Right, Claudia, not much out of her, to be honest with you. A lot of mystery, but I think there's enough for a B. So I would say that Claudia is going to go there. So old Claudia, definitely going a B. I think later in the series, later when I do my other rankings, it's going to be even higher, but that's where she goes now. Next up, we've got the pathologist from the 50s. This actor is great. He's also in Babylon Berlin. If you've seen that show, if you haven't, check it out. It's great. He plays like a ex-army soldier with PTSD, who's heavily addicted to some sort of drug. I'm not historically aware enough to know which one. I think it's morphine of some sort. But anyway, he's going to go D because he's so young, but so small of a character. But still, he's pretty cool. Peter Doppler, just for the lols, I might pop him S. C. Peter Doppler. Actually, no. I'm going to put him at B. Because I think we had a load of really cool moments in the series where he was just so obviously guilty of something, like wiping the mat with all the red dirt. He's like, oh no, like he's got a great worrying face. This actor, but I think I put it B just because I did enjoy it. Okay, so Regina. I'm going to put her B as well. Regina started off, for me, I was like, oh, okay, this is the bad guy of the show. Before I knew what the show was. She came across as very cold, very up herself, if you have that expression around the world. Means like very arrogant. I thought that I wasn't going to like her. But very quickly, with the breast cancer diagnosis, as well as just her relationship with Alexander, or Yasin, I should say, it really just became... their relationship became one of my favorite things in the show, if I'm honest with you, and I'll put her at B for it. And let's put her next to Alexander. Let's put her next to him. Right, okay, so next up, Regina. Well, that's a D tier character. We didn't see much of Regina. She saved Boris, sure, but I've got 80s Boris in A, and I've got Regina in D. Jeez. And that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm leaving her there. All right, next up, we've got, who is this again? Oh yeah, this you're gonna laugh at this. This is the teacher from Elizabeth and Yasin's school. D obviously, but I'm including everyone, guys. I told you, I'm including everyone. Okay, next up we've got the social worker. It's got to be a D. You know what? We didn't see enough of her, so she's probably going to be a D anyway. But I'm telling you now, if you just give a kid to someone because they say I want them, that's not good. Like, look at the woman you gave them to. If you did a little bit of background check, go into the house, check the cupboards. Is there any sleeping pills in there? Yes, there is. Not getting the kid. Like, come on, do your due diligence, love. Come on. Stranger. Season 2 Stranger is an S tier character. Season 2 Stranger is an S tier character. Season 1 Stranger is an A tier character for me. Is just his emotions, his subtlety, his acceptance that he can't really change anything to a certain extent. Obviously not. He thinks he can change one big thing at the end of Season 2. In Season 2, he's a great character who I just love every minute of, and he really embodies Jonas. Once he says Ich bin du, okay, Ich bin du, whatever, I don't know, I don't speak German. Once he says that, he becomes like Jonas. Like Lewis Hoffman, it's like he inhibited Andreas Pietschmann's body. Like, it's mental. Season 2 is amazing. I'll put him in A because he's still great. The teacher, he's got to go D. I'm a teacher myself. If Magnus walked into my room, you know what I'd be saying? Get out of here, Magnus. And if you refuse to go, down the principal's office. Suspended. No, he wouldn't be suspended. But still, you don't just let people walk into your classroom. What are you doing, man? That's absolutely nutcase. Also, he should be thinking, he should be listening. If Bartos is making comments about Franziska Doppler's black hole at the back of the class, he needs to know about it. And he needs to stop that rampant sexism happening in his classroom. Terrible. Next up, we've got the Theseus from the play. Theseus from the play. He's going to go here. I'm including everyone, guys. I'm including everyone. Torben Voller. Now, I saw someone commented there saying that I should put Torben in the S tier just for the jokes. I might do that Season 2. I'm not doing that this time because it's not the jokes yet. Once Season 2 comes along and we get the question about his eye again, then we're starting to get the bit of a joke there. Voller, we all know he's the mastermind. If you listen to the Q&A the other day, we all know he's the mastermind behind the whole thing. Like, he's as Konrad said on the podcast, he is the Odin of the show. Okay, Tronta, old Tronta, trimming bushes and everything. Trimming bushes, Tronta the trimmer. See, again, like Konrad and I talked this week about it actually on on the AD podcast. Tronta is very much not really doing much in the first season or two, and then Season 3 he obviously comes into his own. Then Season 3 is his time to shine, but not yet. Same goes for young Tronta. Yep. Middle Tronta, just for the stash. Might pop him in B. What do you think? I'll pop him in C for now, but if you want me to bump him up just for the mustache, let me know in the chat. Right, Ulla Obendorf, D. Not as cool as Jürgen. Come on, you can't beat Jürgen. But Ulla, I can see why you married him. I can see why you married that man. Ulrich, S tier character in Season 1. Now, as much on the podcast as I slag off Ulrich and say he's an evil man and all this sort of thing, his story is one of the most complex. His story is one of the most important in the first season. He's if you were to say which character rivals Jonas for being the most popular, the most screen time character and who's the main character of Season 1, Ulrich is really the only character who would rival Jonas for me. But he goes there. Young Ulrich, C. Again, there was a fair bit from young Ulrich, I suppose, but not enough to get him into B for me. Not enough. The last 4 ones here, geez, I didn't leave the best for last. I'll tell you that. So I've got the vet who talked about the bird's ears, so D. I've got the guy who's going to go in S tier. Yugoslavian meatballs. Jeez, I love some of those. I'm just kidding. He's not going to go S tier. He will go C tier though. He's the only character who's got so little time that's going to be put in C tier because he was hilarious. And second last, we've got Yasin's mom, D tier. Yeah, I included Yasin's mom, guys. I'm including everyone. All right, and then lastly, we've got Alexander himself, Alexander Tiedemann, Boris Neivold, or formerly known as Yasin. Yasin. Where do you go? The potential in this character. I mean, he started off as a deaf mute boy. Somehow found his way out of the city of Winden. Went on to become a robber of some sort. Went into a shop, accidentally killed Clarsen's brother, and then ran back to Winden. Back where it all started. This time, very OA-esque. Able to hear. Able to speak. Yasin. What a journey. D. All right, guys. That's us. That's my tier list. I'm gonna save and download. I'm gonna do something like that. I think I can do that, and then I'll put that in the description of the video once it has finished the live stream. I'll get that done. I think this has gone well. Let me know what you think. If you're watching this after the live stream has gone, let me know in the comments what you think of this live stream idea. I think it's pretty good. I think every now and then, I'm not going to do it every week, but I think every now and then to do a live stream, it saves me on some editing. It's good fun to get your input as we go. There's been some hilarious comments here. I agree with most of what you guys are saying. So in terms of where the characters should be placed, and I think you agree with me a fair bit as well. But that is basically all I have to say. Can you please go to the poll at Hey Anthony James, and the three options are Parallels to Westworld. What genre is dark? Is it a Christmas film? I don't know. Then we've got 80s Talk with Konrad as well. So, guys, can you make sure you head over to the poll, vote for that. Konrad, I'm going to record the 80s Talk with Konrad regardless. So if you want to vote for something else, the 80s Talk will come. It's just that I want to make sure I get it because obviously our recording schedule is so hectic with the After Dark podcast as well. I need to make sure it's just in the bag because if you guys vote for it, I'm not going to be able to get him at an emergency. So that'll be done. So you just think about that as well. We all know Konrad loves the 80s. Right, guys. Konrad will be coming on the show more and more, especially when we finish Dark through the After Dark podcast. He'll be coming on every now and then. So that'll be great. He's not going to come on every week because, we both have lives, but that's going to happen. Thanks very much, guys. It's been great. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you've just popped in for the live stream, if this is the first you've ever seen in my channel, hey, thanks for watching. But make sure you... Peter Griffin's in. Oh, Peter, it's great to see you, mate. I don't really like Family Guy. I've seen a few episodes, but it's the same joke over and over again. But thanks for being here, Peter. I'm sure you're great in real life. I don't have to judge you based on your work. But anyway, thanks very much, guys. I'll catch you later. And apart from that, I think we're finished. Subscribe, like, audio apps, all that sort of thing. Bye bye.